Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This video is an interview with the next council member of 05. Disclaimer, this is not Skipper's way to insult what happened to him in 05. This is not to insult any person from 05 whatsoever. He's here to share his truths, what happened, why he was blacklisted, why he was kicked off, and the drama going on behind 05. There will be two videos on this, being this one where I will kind of add on onto what's going on because he's a lot of French guy all over the place. But there will be this and the raw interview. Yet again, this is not Skipper's video to slander anyone or to insult people. He's here based solely on what happened to him and to criticize how his case was handled. And you'll see what I mean by the evidence produced. If you want to see, go down below and you'll see the fucking whatever they're called again, where you check and you click and then it takes you to the chapter of it. So yeah, enjoy the 1 hour fuck fest of 05. So the topic of the conversation is Skipper being blacklisted. So we're going to start off with Skipper being blacklisted and explaining what happened to Skipper, how he was dealt with, and what actually happened behind the scenes, which is just absolutely fucked.
I got blacklisted because of this. So when I saw that, someone sent me this, like he said that I was a scammer, I went to the Discord, the migration Discord, and I sent a message in the general chat. You see what I mean? And I said, everyone is welcome except Jado. That's all I said. And then this message got deleted like 20 minutes or 1 hour later, and they kicked me out of the migration Discord. And then I didn't hear about that story for like a few weeks. And now they
Queen by title, but indeed
pushed me out. They blacklisted me for this reason, because I defend my honor. Crazy shit, a ticket. So I create a ticket for my blacklist, and they just close it without any reply. And I got one reply from the council saying, decision has been made and we don't want to talk about it anymore.
Is that what Massina was referring to when he said the Aldrich screenshot?
Yes.
Well, what Skipper meant by the ticket not being responded to was obviously it not being responded to, and Aldrich being the only one having backbone to speak to Skipper. Now, with the screenshots I'm going to put on screen, but I'm reading off my phone right now, Skipper's really confused as to what happened, and the only explanation was given that he was threatening migrants and accessing officer chat. Keep in mind, this is after he had left leadership, and he was being kicked out because he came to discussions and agreement where 05's treating their KD more like an administration business rather than an actual kingdom. And it's just, the main point was you are subject to allegations, which is just appalling behaviour. And Aldrich further says that, fair or not, it has come to this, which is just shocking, the fact that Skipper wasn't given any sort of heads up on him being removed. And for someone so renowned in 05 who has been helping out since the start, it's absolutely appalling that they didn't give him any information. They just kicked and removed him, and they didn't defend him either. If someone calls your friend a scammer, you're not going to defend the accuser, are you? You're supposed to defend your friend. But in this case, they cared more about their image than their actual friend who helped build the kingdom. It's fucking appalling.
Most of the times. Like, for example,
Sorry.
I left leadership. So how I left leadership? At the end of KDK1, we were not aligned at all with how we want to have the rewards and what do we want to do with the people we just beat.
Right.
So I told them, 06 and 07, these two kingdoms, they were our enemies, so we should take it all from them. mCoA replied to me, yes, but I'm trying to get people from 06 here for the migration, so I'm trying to avoid killing them. And I said, fine, but at least can we kill the inactive people not actively moving out of their territory when we are killing this. It's like pure simple joy having to zero people. And he said, okay, fine for this. So first he said, fine for this. So we went on and we start killing those. But then I start a rally. So imagine I start a rally against someone in 06,
Alright.
and people inside the officers, they all even tell me, we are not sure about that one, that specific guy. And I said, okay, the rally is there. You can cancel whenever you can. When you are an officer, you can cancel a rally by kicking people out of my rally. They didn't, so the rally goes on, and we hit, and we killed that one. And it was very effective rally because it was like 1,000 or even 2,000 percentage
We
report.
shall meet again.
And then they told me, oh, you can't do that. And I got almost blacklisted for this.
So what ended up happening was Skipper was told by mCoA at first that he was allowed to hit rallies on AFK members from 06 and 07 after they had won KVK. And after that, mCoA gave him the green light. But then was told by other officers when there was a certain player being rallied and they had the chance to cancel at any time to not rally that person, and they had the opportunity to kick Skipper, but the rally still went ahead. So for that, he was nearly blacklisted, which is fucked.
And many other issues also inside leadership, like about the activity of some officers, about what they are actually doing, about what they are providing. There are many, many yes men inside the leadership. So imagine you have mCoA and also few people around him inside High Council. High Council is basically R5 of top 1, top 2, and maybe one or two other guys maximum. Then you have the council, it's like
We shall meet
6 people
again,
maximum,
Saladin.
and then you have all the officers. And they never speak, High Council never share anything to anything else. Never. Because it's like classifies things or whatever, but they are not transparent because sometimes they are asking to put in place a decision without sharing the reasons at all, even to officers. And those are the one problematics.
So I'm confused because from the chats that I've seen and screenshots I've seen, people are saying you've been blacklisted.
Yeah, they try to blacklist people as soon as
We shall meet
they have too
again,
much knowledge about what's going on and how it's going on, and they have too much leverage about hurting the leadership. Like if I like what I'm doing right now, if I want, I can explain to you like how mCoA is doing stuff to manipulate people. It's very simple. It's something we learn in the sales team. You don't talk, you wait for everyone to talk, and then you give your opinion at the end when everyone already spoke, and then you can see where is the consensus and you go for that. Like this, you are never giving your opinion beforehand, and you know exactly what you have to do, what you have to tell, to just keep leading without hurting anyone. And it's like finding people that likes power, promoting them. They feel
We shall
rewarded
meet
and they will
again,
always follow him.
Saladin.
See what I mean? And he doesn't want people with their own opinions or just trying to balance and see how we can do different things. No, 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 no.
To add on to what Skipper was saying about council, it is pretty much full of yes men, and there's a screenshot put up as Green by Barnes where he states that you can't say much to people, which is obvious, but when we vote on stuff, it's usually a mess, takes forever, and people lose their shit and argue at times. It's bewildering to me. It kind of adds up with what Skipper has to say about council and how it's handled. And another issue which we'll talk about later in this video is how the relationship between Lum and Day 5 has grown more dissent as KVK draws nearer, or the kingdom's basically been alive for 05. So this kind of shows the lack of transparency added in with Skipper's near blacklist after being told he's allowed. It's just ridiculous to me to see how mCoA treats his players.
From top two, and from the beginning of the KVK1, they never been taken seriously by the top one. You see, they have the top one. They have like a sense of superiority, and they always talk down about the officers of top two. But to be fair, the officers of top two, they are more active and they are doing more things than the others. So it got a little bit heated, and you got tensions from that.
See,
What I'm sharing with you, Hot Dog War, saying Day has never taken. So Day is the top one. Huh? Day
yeah,
A1. It's not the girl. What can I tell you about how it's going in leadership? Yes, you have tensions. You have always also tensions between, I would say, people that were following more or less my point of view about honor and about how we should play the game respectfully, and you have mCoA and the others who like to be the devil in disguise, and they will never be transparent to you. They will never share their honest opinion. So basically, you don't know what he's thinking about you at all. For most of the times, you don't know his opinion about the situation, and he won't tell you. And he never. And one big issue I also have with mCoA, he never spoke in vocals during the fight. Never. So I was the one leading the war with other officers, and it was we never got any help from the council for this.
I remember people
And
talking about that you were the war lead and planner for O5.
yeah, I plan all the KVK1 fights where we should put the fortress, the flags. That was my role. With all the Deus drama that it insulted me a lot. Let me share that maybe.
Okay, so what Skipper meant for Deus assaulting him was during the Ruins fight, him being a T5 player, being able to afford the damage, he decided that it would be good to, keep the enemy gate locked. And Deus then decided to insult him by calling him disgusting and just hurling insults at him. It, what Deus decided to do during Ruins was to lock players in by kicking them outside the alliance. It's just you don't really do that to one of your council members who's a war leading. I mean, I get he's T5. Every T5's got a little bit of ego and won't listen to Marcus, but you just don't do that to someone that drew up your war plan. And quite frankly, the way Diaz handled it as well was childish.
And they kick out Mosey because he wants to migrate. Because of what happened with Masena and Zach as well. He went to leadership saying, "What the fuck are you doing to Masena? It's not fair. You promise something, and then you change your word based on some bullshit reputation stuff, whatever. Not willing to take Masena. Masena was willing to come to here, and then he got rejected by mCoA.
I
And
I can tell you
and
why.
Mosey was very yeah, I know most of the story, and Mosey was really mad about that, and that's also why Rainer is like asked to leave. Also
We
because
shall meet
if
again,
you are mad to
Spartan.
leadership and you are speaking to them like he did, they will get angry and they will remove you.
Now, the big running issue, if I can read it. Now, the thing of Mozzie is, there's been questions about Mozzie's blacklist and where it came from. And to tell you the truth, from what I've heard and from screenshots and from what trusted people have told me, the whole issue with Mozzie was that Messina was invited into O5, not applied. He didn't apply personally. He was invited to O5 in the same day he was rejected by mCoA because of his name, the Kingdom Killer, his reputation. However, mCoA forgot to mention that Jidoka, who now has a 180 million account in O5, wanted to migrate there and did not want Messina in O5 by any terms. And when it came to Zach, what happened was another person called Spacebar, who's away with 18, was accepted into O5 for migration and had to ask over 8 different people, as you can see in the screenshot here, for any clearance on it. And from what he believes and what everyone there believes, is that they had planned to get both Jidoka and Zack in the kingdom and leave Spacebar alone. So Mozzie personally believed this to be an injustice, and he told Messina, and it led to mCoA personally messaging Mozzie with the 7 commandments of mCoA in DMs, which I'll put up on screen now. But now in recent days, mCoA has not let Mozzie go peacefully, where he's been sending him poems and saying random shit, or going as far as to draw a dick with formations outside Mozzie's training spot, which for an R5 of an Imperial KD is beyond fucking childish. It's just ridiculous. System and the Yes Men. The screenshot about I'm gonna keep his name out of this, right? But it's probably been showed already. The screenshot by him, and I'll show it in our chat right now, and I'll show it on screen now. By him, does also add up to a story of how Council goes behind O5, like how it's performed.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me. And
So, to explain how it works, normally for every big decisions there is a vote, and
Right.
also officers can vote.
right,
But in reality, they agreed with something on High Council, then they will explain and present to you the ID to the officers, and they will like present already what you should vote. You see what I mean?
yeah,
So it's already it's biased, to be fair. And one time they didn't have time to explain, and we vote before they could explain. And the vote was not in their favor. And what they said, we will re-vote again, like 1 hour later when they
until it's
explain
to
everything.
until it's to their liking.
Yes, and it was for the rewards. And then I said, okay, so you are not respecting the diplomacy for that vote, and you ask for a second one when you are talking to your yes men to do this or that. And then they vote and they follow the orders. Like this, they can keep their role and they can keep their position. It's like a vicious circle for me.
So to add on to what Skipper was saying, Council 105 are ushered by Yes Men, where mCoA barely says a word or maybe says one word, and people wait for mCoA to finish what he wants first before people agree, or where mCoA is silent and people say their words, and only then is anything actually truly said. I mean, from this screenshot, you can see the conversation between Shomi and Skipper. Shomi says, something happens, Day gives her opinion, Kill agrees, Godfather also agrees, and mCoA doesn't even reply. Tuja just reads, and Narabo is not relevant. And he's talking more about the early game sort of council. But it kind of shows through more active stuff, more recent stuff in the kingdom, that officers aren't as active, and there were lots of issues with reward and diplomacy in the early game. And as Fred shows up here, he's noticing that officers only are active when rewards are given out, or when Barnaby says here as well that there need to be more officers online for runes.
So, just to understand a little bit,
Right.
I sent DMs in Discord to mCoAs when I was still in leadership and when we were still fighting for the KVK 1 win. He didn't reply for weeks. He was like ignoring me deliberately for like, I don't know what reason, what happened. But since one issue happened in the runes, you see, when we have that argument with kicking players inside runes because they were not following markers, whatever,
Right.
From that point, I think he wants me out of his kingdom. And he has a big ego for him. He did a lot. He did everything. While in fact he's only doing diplomacy and also some migration and some recruitments for migration. But diplomacy in KVK1, nothing to do. It was 1v3 or yeah, whatever. The 3708 helped a little bit, but it's like
Just
whatever.
so when Skip is talking about diplomacy, what he means is that originally on the surface, 05 was supposed to be a 3v1. However, 05, or rather mCoA, used it as a alliance. Well, they used it as a internal spy to know the plans of 06 and 07, which kind of helped them win KVK. It's just scummy. And then people just say that it's allied from the start when the whole 05 KVK was advertised as a 3v1, which is just scummy.
Thank you for, obviously nothing else, thank you for being here, because this has generally not only uncovered my thoughts and opinions, but I'm sure many people who know what drama there is behind this region, and I will be making more videos on this because it's just quite frankly ridiculous. But thank you for taking your time to be here.
Yeah, thank you for you. Thank you also for this interview.
So that wraps it up for the interview. This is by no means any hate towards mCoA from Skipper's behalf or hatred towards 05. He's simply just sharing his experiences as he's worked pretty fucking hard for 05, but it seems that he hasn't been given or reciprocated that same care or relations back to him, which is why he's speaking out today. If you guys by any chance have any sort of drama, any sort of skeleton in the closet of your KD, please hit me up, as I know Barnaby wants to counter this interview live on air. But other than that, don't send any hatred towards Skipper. I don't give a fuck if you send hatred towards mCoA, but please make sure you watch this video or take it away with an open mind rather than a biased or unbiased one. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next interviews. So, one last thing before I add. These screenshots I'm putting up while I'm currently talking are people's thoughts and opinions of mCoA and 05, and I will tell them to shield up before I release this video. So yeah, these are just all screenshots. Enjoy.